What is going on, everybody? What is going on? The Catch fam. I hope you guys are doing phenomenal tonight. I hope everyone has just had the greatest Monday of their entire life. I hope you guys are ready for another live 2023 Fantasy Football Mock Draft with you guys, with the Catch fam. Of course, we've got topics to get into today, ladies and gentlemen. It is August 14th. We are a day closer to the 2023 NFL season, a day closer to the NFL's fantasy football season. I don't know why I phrased it that way, but you guys get the point. I'm super excited. We've got free agency moves. We've got Zeke to the Patriots. We've got Dalvin Cook to the Jets. So you guys know what to do, man. Hit that like button on the way in. Subscribe if you're new so you can hear me talk about fantasy football stuff. Add me to the other 20 people in your algorithm you already have. Most importantly, hop in the live chat, guys. Any fantasy football topics you guys want to go over, throw them in the live chat. We've got a new subscriber. We've got a super chat from Walito. Kind of scared me. Thank you, Walito, for paying your dues for the Dynasty Leagues. But what was I saying? Most importantly, hop in the live chat. Let me know what's popping. Let me know how you guys are doing. And we're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to talk some fantasy football. All right, sending out the final warning on Discord. Mock is starting. Get that out. We'll throw it in the sleeper chat. Mock is starting. Boom. Let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. 12-team, full PPR, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, 2 flex spots, 5 bench spots. That's your format. Kicker and defense are in there because it's August. And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Draft has begun. So, you guys already know. Everyone's already talked about it at this point. I'm a late night type of streamer. But running back Zeke Elliott is expected to sign a 1-year deal worth up to $6 million with the New England Patriots. On top of that, once we got smacked with that doozy, we got smacked with another one. Dalvin Cook signing a 1-year deal worth up to $8.6 million with the New York Jets. And the Saints signed running back Darrell Williams, if anyone is wondering. So, lots of fantasy implications to go over here. Interested to get your guys' feedback on both of the moves. For me, let's start with Zeke, of course. Okay, I think this, Ramondre Stevenson, people are worried about him, right? I get it. But I think this was better than if Dalvin Cook went to the Patriots. And I think it's probably still worse than if Leonard Fournette went there, believe it or not. Although Fournette does have some pass catching ability, there's only so much there, I guess, especially compared to Ramondre Stevenson. But, when you look at what Ezekiel Elliott can do, and I've talked about this kind of throughout the offseason, right? Man, I'm going to have to go Kelsey tonight, aren't I? I don't really ever do this, but let's go Kelsey and Amon-Ra. Ezekiel Elliott did not have that bad of a fantasy year last year. People act like he is literally the worst running back to ever live. Yeah, he was only the RB22 last year, but in games where he was healthy, double digits every game except for 5. And he was basically on a tear weeks 11 through 16, 13 or more fantasy points in all those games. A touchdown in all those games. And even in week 17, he had a touchdown as well, although he only had 9.7 fantasy points. So 876 rushing yards, 3.79 yards per carry, a career low in both those categories, but tied his career high in rushing touchdowns. Essentially no receiving work last year, though. So that's good for Ramondre Stevenson, right? In terms of the receiving aspect, Cowboys completely handed that to Tony Pollard, right? So 17 receptions, career low by a far, So when you look at Zeke, right, yeah, he's probably going to get goal line touches. That's just the reality. And on top of that, he's probably mainly being signed to the Patriots, A, because Bill Belichick is an evil genius who hates fantasy football and could not give us a bell cow running back just 1 year, but B, because, realistically they want to keep their bell cow running back, Ramondre Stevenson, healthy. Okay. He's going to need breaks. And, I think a lot of us thought that between Pierre Strong and Kevin Harris, maybe even Ty Montgomery to a degree, that there was going to be enough there. But ultimately, Patriots coaching staff did not feel the same. So when you look at Ramondre Stevenson last year, 88 targets, 69 receptions, 421 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. So the receptions, the targets were all there. And I don't think that Ezekiel Elliott going to the Patriots is going to take away from Ramondre Stevenson's receiving upside, which, full PPR, which is what a majority of fantasy managers are playing in now, that is where you're gaining most of this value, right? Don't get me wrong, he had a good year on the ground, just over 1,000 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, but those added 69 receptions are a huge deal in fantasy scoring. In his rookie season, just 606 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, and just 18 targets, 14 receptions, 123 receiving yards, no receiving touchdowns. So, we all expected I don't want to say we all, but a lot of people expected a step forward out of Ramondre Stevenson in his sophomore year, and we definitely got that, right? And then a majority of people as well were expecting a bigger leap in his junior season, especially when we were looking at the depth chart. But, I think more and more teams out there, they want this kind of committee-style approach, right? And this might not even really be a committee, but they want depth at the running back position, because it's just a position that you see a lot of injuries at, right? Really the days of like a true RB1 bell cow style is pretty long gone. I mean, look at the first 2 running backs off the board tonight. Bijan Robinson, right? Tyler Algier is still going to be there if and when they want to take Bijan out of the game towards the end of games. If they've scored enough points, they feel like they're in a good spot. And B, like just throughout the game when they want to alleviate some of that pressure off of Bijan Robinson's total carries. And then you look at Christian McCaffrey, like as long as Elijah Mitchell is healthy, he's still going to be involved in the game plan as well. So it's like, you only really get so many running backs, maybe Chubb or Barkley. Like the only guys I can think of, like Eckler is just such a unique running back. And I could see another running back emerging, getting some touches out of that backfield, but maybe Eckler's in that conversation. Derrick Henry, of course, but overall, like there's just not that many running backs who you can really look at and say, yeah, that guy is the undisputed RB1. Like there's just going to be another running back looming. Now, like when you look at Josh Jacobs and Zamir White looming, that's very different than Ezekiel Elliott, even at this stage in his career, looming behind Ramondre Stevenson. But I just ultimately think Stevenson's going to be okay. I'm interested to see where he goes tonight, but like still on the board right here in a 12-team format. Yeah, I'll still take Ramondre Stevenson right here. I don't have a problem with taking him as my RB1. So let's do it. And let me see here. I got to go wide receiver with this next pick. Yeah, DJ Moore's gone. Poor Debo. Do I just go Debo as my wide receiver too? Let's go Drake London. Let's switch it up tonight. Let's build a weird squad. But yeah, I don't have a problem with Ramon. Like, let's look, based on tonight's mock, right? We'll talk about Breece Hall in a second. I do expect Breece Hall's ADP to drop a little bit more significantly. Ramondre, I'm a little bit surprised about. I thought he'd still be like in the 3.5, 3.6 range. It could just be this specific mock too. I mean, we've got a couple quarterbacks in the third, pretty wide receiver heavy draft. But yeah, like Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, Kenneth Walker, Travis Etienne. That's kind of the tier we have tonight. I still really like Ramondre in that tier. I like Walker a lot. I like Harris, and I like Etienne as well. But I still really like Ramondre Stevenson in that tier. I think he's going to be okay. This is kind of like when Kenneth Walker, had Zach Charbonnet added to his backfield. Okay, it's different. Don't get me wrong. But think of it that way, though. If you're not worried about Kenneth Walker, right? Because I still like Walker enough to draft him as an RB1 in a hero RB build. But when you look at The Kenneth Walker situation, Charbs is going there to be a pass-catching running back. Primarily. Every now and then, yeah, he's going to take away some value touches from Walker. But primarily, he's going to be a pass-catching running back. It's the opposite with the Patriots. Zeke is going there to be, sometimes a third down back. Maybe it just depends on if they're trying to run the football on third down or throw the football on third down. And be a goal line style type running back. That does affect Stevenson's value, don't get me wrong, just like Charbs affects Walker's value in his own sense. But it doesn't completely diminish Ramondre Stevenson's value, just like I don't think Kenneth Walker's value has been completely diminished. Now, like, if Walker's there and there's no clear-cut guy behind him, if Stevenson's there and there's no clear-cut guy behind him, yeah, that's still better. But I just think more and more of these backfields have a looming RB2 or a running back 2 that's going to get touches. So I just, when we look at the style running back that Ramondre Stevenson is, I don't have a problem drafting him at the end of the third in 12-team formats, beginning in the fourth. I'm still going to take him right there. All right, so let me know your guys' thoughts. Took one for the team tonight. I drafted Stevenson. Now let's talk about Breece Hall, okay? So this situation between Dalvin Cook, Breece Hall, Cook going to the Jets, right? I do think that it's a bigger impact on Breece Hall overall. So when we look at Cook last year, 1,100 rushing yards, just under 1,200 rushing yards, 4.4 yards per carry, 8 rushing touchdowns, 295 receiving yards, 39 receptions, 2 receiving touchdowns. He was your RB11 last year. Okay. He is still dealing with the never-ending shoulder injury, in case you're wondering. So he's got that going on. But, according to sources, he is nearing the end of his recovery. Has surgery in February. So, this is an interesting situation because I still like Breece Hall. And I like Dalvin Cook to a degree. And I think a lot of people out there really like this offense. Okay, like the potential upside that this offense brings to the table this year with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. There's probably not another team out there that has more hype than the Jets right now going into this year. I haven't got to watch any of Hard Knocks yet, but I know that's not going to help. But, if you believe in this offense, then you probably want to take one of these 2 running backs. But the question is when and where, right? Because Cook, when he's back, is going to eat into these carries. And I do think it's pretty telling, at the end of the day, that the Jets have been so vocal about going out and getting another running back behind Breece Hall with already having Michael Carter, Zonovan Knight, who had flashes last year, and then drafting Izzy. Like, they wanted another running back in this backfield who could immediately step in and take value touches. So it's kind of a murky situation because it doesn't feel like the Jets are 110% confident in Breece Hall's recovery at this point. Now, we could be wrong about that. There are a lot of people speculating that, and I think it's fair to speculate. We could be wrong about it. But ultimately, I do feel like there's just something off with that situation. And that makes me a little bit nervous. Just a tiny bit nervous. Okay? So ultimately, I think it's a weird situation. Hall goes at 4.12 tonight. I expect him ultimately to drop back a little bit further than that, actually. All right, let me make these picks. Kind of in a weird spot tonight because I really commonly don't go tight end in the first round. But I wanted to tonight because Kelsey is good at football. All right, I'm going to go Hollywood. I think I was going to go double receiver there, but I think I'm going to go running back here. I'm going to go Monty. I mean, like Dobbins, Madison, Akers, Monty, White, Pacheco. You just can't really go wrong right there. So yeah, I just the Jets situation I think is a lot more murky. That backfield is loaded. Obviously, the Jets are like putting, all their chips in. They're trying to build a for sure playoff team. And I think when you look at the durability between Cook and between Hall, like they want to be able to have probably both these running backs in an ideal world come playoff time. So it's an interesting situation. I expect Hall to fall back a little bit further. Because you look at a guy like Miles Sanders, there's no one behind him. You look at a guy like Dameon Pierce, there's no one behind him. Right? I just think Hall might fall back a little bit more in drafts. I don't know how much more. Like, I don't see him really going past, like, the end of the fifth, for example. But I do think as the month goes on, fantasy managers are going to get more and more spooked about Breece Hall. Then you have an interesting scenario, like, between Hall and Cook. They're obviously, like, pure handcuffs to each other. We never, like, wish for injury, but if one or the other goes down, you're in a very good situation. With Stevenson and Zeke, I don't quite feel as confident. Like, I still think Zeke is good. But if Stevenson goes down, I'm not as confident in Zeke. Obviously there's still fantasy value or increased fantasy value there. But, yeah, I don't know. All right, give me your guys' thoughts. That was a lot of talking. We're 6 rounds in already. But thank you guys for being here. Smash the like button for me. And let's talk some fantasy. Tommy, what's up, man? Fantasy Endgame, hello. What's up, Chris and/or Pierre? Good to see you guys. Hello. Daniel, curious, have you done a mock on 1.11 yet? Depends from what format. I'm assuming 12 teams, though. I probably have. Maybe not as an actual upload, per se. I know some of you guys like the uploads where I do like the round-by-round roster construction, but I know at some point this offseason I probably have ran a 12-teamer from the 11, but I know a lot of you guys want updated ones. So if not, I'll get that on the schedule for you. The schedule is filling up quickly. And last night, thank you guys to anyone who joined the post stream mocks, because last night was a disaster. The first mock, for some of you guys, what ended up happening, I'm not like upset about it, but it was showing as us, we did the Superflex mock on the stream last night, and for some reason, Sleeper was showing the mock I sent out after the stream as a Superflex mock when it was not. And then Mahomes went at like 1.4, and then we just completely restarted the mock for the video, and then I forgot to hit the record button, which was awesome. And then I was like, you know what? We're going to scrap this one, but I still want to put out a video tomorrow. So who wants to join an 8-teamer? Because we can do that, very quickly in like under 30 minutes. So thank you guys for working with me last night and drafting with me. All right, there goes Cook at the 7.5, by the way. So he doesn't really, I don't know. He's been kind of so all over the place in ADP. I think really with Hall and Cook, it's going to take a couple mock drafts to really see where he lands. Or both of them land, excuse me. Shane, what's up, man? Cats, hello. J-Dubs, what's going on? Brandon, good to see you. Ron the Goat is in the house. What's up, what's up? Tommy, I like the Bijan at 1.1 tonight. I like it. Chase Brown, Andrea, K9, Albert, good to see everybody. J Fitness, hello. Bears 1985, what's going on? Oh, it's John Edwards. That's what I thought. Looked like your normal intro. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Hope you're doing fantastic tonight. Let's see here. I don't know what this team is tonight because I've just been talking. And yeah, definitely an interesting squad for me tonight. I just don't enjoy going tight end in the first like that. I just never like my team as much as I like Travis Kelce for a lot of different reasons. I just never feel confident when I go tight end in the first. Let's go Quentin Johnston here. All right, let's see here. Taylor was going to take Ramondre at the 3.3, went Andrews instead. Chase says Ramondre will be fine. I agree. Cat says, I think this pushes Ramondre behind ETN for me. You know, like I said, that tier is very close. Najee, Stevenson, Walker, ETN. And I think ETN ultimately is still being like relatively slept on. I mean, really, like ETN, I don't really know what has happened this offseason other than Tank Bigsby going there, who like I do like, but I really think ETN's going to be okay. And like beginning of the offseason, like we were like starting rankings, mock drafting like a week after the Super Bowl, and ETN was like top 10. He's just really fallen back. So like if you like ETN over Ramondre or Walker or even Najee, I don't mind it. But those four guys I think are just super close. And I think honestly, like, you know, as often as I go hero running back, if you're drafting towards the end of the first and you know that you don't feel confident. I mean, Barkley or Chubb might be there. You might like them, maybe even Henry. But like if you want to start, if you think the wide receiver value outweighs running back value at the end of the first, and you want to start things off like Garrett Wilson, St. Brown, A.J. Brown, St. Brown, CeeDee Lamb, St. Brown, you don't want to go running back, until the third or beginning of the fourth. Najee, Stevenson, Walker, and ETN all kind of floating around right there. I think all those guys, like, yeah, they're not Tony Pollard or Austin Eckler or whatever, but they're all really good values and guys that could creep up in the top 10 spots easily. So I like that they're all sitting right there. All right, let's see. Dom, Jalen Hurts went later today than the 8-teamer last night. Yeah, I felt like that was a great value in the 8-team mock last night. All right, let me try and get caught up here. K9, Cook hasn't had a healthy season in so long. Even if they split snaps and touches, I still think Brees will be the RB1 for at least 4 games when Cook probably gets hurt. I mean, that's fair. I mean, the interesting thing is that they have both been hurt recently, right? So how do the Jets kind of manage that? I mean, in all fairness, Cook did play all but one game last year. But then 13, 14, 14, 11, 4. So last year was the closest thing to a fully healthy season. And hopefully, the shoulder injury, shoulder surgery, I should say, has helped things. But, I mean, I guess that's fair. I think Brees Hall is their future, though. I mean, that's the thing, though. Can we really say that about any running back anymore? I mean, I like Brees Hall a lot. But you have to be a clear-cut Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry style of running back. And I guess Nick Chubb. Probably Bijan. I will say Bijan, even though it's pretty early. To really be a team's future at the running back position, I mean, how many years removed are we from guys like Ezekiel Elliott, even players like, I mean, look at like Le'Veon Bell, the way he got replaced by James Conner. It's just the nature of the running back position is just shifting so drastically in the NFL right now that I don't really trust a lot of running backs. But, I mean, I think ultimately, Brees is far more talented for sure. And I still like Brees Hall. It's not like I'm out on Brees Hall. I think he is affected more drastically overall, for sure. All right, who in the world am I going to draft? Give me McKinnon. I was really hoping somehow that Sky Moore fell out. I just don't like that I keep drafting Juju Smith-Schuster. I just feel like in full PPR, as your wide receiver 5, like it's okay. I prefer Sutton or Romeo Doubs in that range. If Sky Moore falls, I like him the best. But I knew if I didn't go Sky Moore at 8.1, I wasn't going to get him. And I don't know. I still like Lazard, Myers, Mooney. There are names in this range, but I do feel like Juju is the clear-cut wide receiver 1 on that team, whatever that means. Very quickly here, we didn't get to any other news today. We just focused on the big news, right? Mike Gesicki left practice earlier today with an upper body injury. Terrace Marshall was carted off practice today. Here's a bigger one, though, in my opinion. Ravens running back J.K. Dobbins being activated off the PUP list. Dobbins is yet to practice during training camp, obviously. So that's probably good. You know, whether this is a contract dispute, whether this is Dobbins actually being hurt, ultimately, we want to see J.K. Dobbins available for this team. You know, I think a lot of you guys are fans of him. And this could be the right sign for seeing him start to trend in the right direction for the offseason. Kendre Miller expected to be ready for week 1. He does have a knee sprain. Cardinals tight end Zach Ertz has been cleared for full football activity. Let's go. Jonathan Taylor is back with the Colts this week. He has not changed his stance. He still wants a trade. And I believe he's still on the PUP list as well. So, yeah, Dobbins, JT's back, and Zach Ertz might do some stuff. We'll find out. He's kind of old. Okay, there's the rest of your news. Let's see here. Kobe, Rashee Rice is in my waiver in my 10-team league. How much free agent bidding should I bid? Dynasty. Well, it's all relative to your league. If you have $100 for the season, it depends. Kobe, how bad do you need a rookie wide receiver on your team? You know, if you're already sitting with, you know, like a team that has like Jaden Reed and maybe it's like some sophomore wide receivers, maybe another rookie wide receiver, then it's kind of your call, depending on how aggressive you want to go after him. But ultimately, it just depends. What's the rest of your roster look like? I guess would be the important question. I mean, I think you'd probably be willing to spend like at least 10 to 15, right? But it depends on how bad you need a rookie wide receiver. Thoughts on going Hill or Kupp over Chase? I still like Chase over them, but I don't necessarily have a problem with it. You guys, you know, I always tell you guys, like, in the first round, you need to identify, are you going to start your draft with a wide receiver or a running back? Most important thing you can think of, right? And then once you go from there, you have to decide like your own kind of personal rankings, where your personal convictions are, and who is the guy that you want the best. If you prefer Hill or Kupp over Chase, I think that's fine. Now, right now with Kupp's situation, like I don't think we really have an update here. Unlikely to practice this week. We probably won't know much about where Kupp's going to be at till we get closer to week 1. But I think Hill is definitely acceptable. And before the Kupp injury, I'd probably put him right there in that conversation as well. But the injury, I think you can have concerns about. And some people might have, you know, some concerns in regards to Chase because of the Burrow injury. But I think everything's going to be okay. Kupp, a little bit more worried about. There's something about hamstring injuries that I don't like. Give me Prescott. And I need a wide receiver here, but God, they're ugly. Give me Van Jefferson. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, am I really going to argue against Cooper Kupp, who's never had a single-digit fantasy game when Matthew Stafford and him are both healthy? Am I really going to argue against Tyreek Hill, who was your wide receiver 2 last year? He's coming off of a 1,700 receiving yard year with a receiver like Jalen Waddle right next to him being as productive as Jalen Waddle is. You know, I'm not. So if those are your guys, I don't have a problem with it. K9 and salary cap is Breece Hall at $11 more of a value than Connor at $17. Yeah, probably still. Probably still, even with the news. I mean, I do like Connor. It's interesting. Hall going cheaper than Connor. I probably go Hall. Taylor, I'm asking because I refuse to draft Bengals, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Only draft players in your team's division that are related to your team, being the Ravens, right? Dom, I didn't realize Cup was 30 years old. He is older. But, you know, Tyreek Hill's 29, if that means anything. And, like, Diggs is 29. So, you know, they're kind of right there in that range as well. Kobe, my wide receivers are Wilson, JSN, Dotson, Jameson, Williams. There's no one else on waivers worth rostering, so I'm leaning towards 15 at least. I think that's fair. 15 to 20 is fair. You have a pretty young wide receiver core, but I think that's fair. 420, what's going on, Huss? Hello, hello. Thank you for stopping by. What's up, man? It's almost time. Hope you have been doing great, man. And hope you're gearing up for the season, bro. It's gonna be a great year. I'm so stoked for this fantasy season. There you go. We got some Seahawks love in the chat there. Yeah, Kobe, I think 15 is fine. I think 15 is fine in 10-man. All right, tonight's draft has flown by. I don't know what I did tonight. I don't know if I love this draft. Prescott, Kelsey, Stevenson, Monty, St. Brown, London, Hollywood Brown. Then in that second flex, it's like A.J. Dillon, Quinn Johnson, McKinnon, JSN, Juju Smith-Schuster, Van Jefferson. Like, this team is fine, but I just don't love it. That my second wide receiver is like, so, like, who do I really want here? London, almost went Debo. I mean, I'm fine with London there. I thought Hollywood was a good value. I don't mind Monty as an RB2, but there's so many guys I like in that range. You know, like so many drafts I have, like, you know, I'm starting like Wilson, St. Brown, Lamb, St. Brown, then going Stevenson, you know, or at least for tonight's purpose, I want to go Stevenson there, then going London. So I feel more confident in London. Then at the 512, I'm going like Monty and Rashad White or Monty and Madison, you know, some combination like that. Then getting A.J. Dillon. Then I'm done at running back, you know? So I don't know. But the good news is Kelsey's on this team, which brings some more upside to the table, right? All right, guys. So let me take a look here. I do need to run a mock draft after the stream, but I need to figure out what I need to run tonight. I still need to run a 14-teamer that I'm way behind schedule on. I'm getting a lot of requests for 8-team formats. I have a request for, you know what? I need to do that 14-teamer. If we can get, I have so many requests for 8-teamers. I still have Kelvion's 10-man, 3-wide receiver. Let me make these 2 draft selections. Oh, you know what? I think I have a 12-teamer I need to do. Hold on. Let me take a look here. I just want to draft Kirk Cousins every draft. Oh, I did not mean to. I thought I was out of skill position players. Oops. I would have not picked a defense before. I mean, I guess either way I was going defense or kicker in the 14th round, so it doesn't really matter. Wow. I don't know. I'm too distracted tonight. Give me Kirk Cousins. Okay. I need to do a 12-teamer for the mock after the stream. That's what I need to do. And I will do the 14-teamers soon. But I need to do a 12-teamer from the 10 spot. That's what we tried to do last night when I forgot to hit the record button. So I will send that link shortly. And then I'll send it out on Discord, get it filled, and we'll record that for a video. That's the plan. Tomorrow, I think I want to stream the 14-teamer. I didn't want to do it tonight because there was so much news to go over that I didn't want to be distracted. Because the 14-teamer is going to take a little bit more, I don't know, just more that I need to talk about, I suppose. So I'm trying to make sure I get this right. 12-team full PPR, picking from the 10th spot, 2 flex, and I need to do a 0 running back build. Okay. So I'll send that out after we do team reviews. I've got that set up. Also, I want to go over the available free agents because, like, we're basically done with free agency now. From a fantasy perspective, Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, they're still out there. They got to land somewhere, but I think those are not as drastic as Ezekiel Elliott as well as Dalvin Cook, right? Jarvis Landry's out there somewhere. Kenny Golladay, Julio Jones. So, Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, Darrell Henderson, Quentin Cephas, T.Y. Hilton. There's not much. There's not much. Sammy Watkins. We're basically done. Mark Ingram. Yeah, we're basically done. But I do think that the Leonard Fournette and Kareem Hunt situations are large enough that they could have some sort of impact in fantasy, right? All right, let's see. Crazy question, but trade my Romeo Dobbs for a 2026 second-round pick. It's 3 years ahead, but do I do it? I would not do it, Kobe. I like Romeo Dobbs a lot. I'm a Romeo Dobbs believer. I think him and Jordan Love have a great chemistry. And I think you hold him because you might be able to get a better value than a later second-rounder. I would hold Dobbs. All right. That was a big sip of water. All right, team reviews. Let's do it. J Fitness at the 1-6. Richardson and Geno. I'm okay with it. Because you have Geno, you have the stability piece. Richardson for the upside. Kittle, tight end. That's fine. Eckler, White, Javonte, A-Shane. I like that running back room a lot. This is where I like Javonte. So RB3. Get A-Shane at the end as your upside pick. I like it. Waddle, Metcalf, Debo, Kirk. Love that. Bateman in the 10th is fine. Shaheed in the 11th, great. Good kicker. Great defense. Good squad. Yeah. This was a double flex format tonight. I said that at the beginning of the stream. But yeah, double flex. So you'd be starting Geno and Kittle, Eckler and White, Waddle, Metcalf, Samuel, Kirk. Come on, man. Javonte, A-Shane, Bateman, Shaheed, Richardson on the bench, Money Mac. And the Pats defense, I love this team. Love this team. I'm not going to say anything else. That's a great squad. Let's see. Cat says Fournette to Cincy, calling it. I could see that. Terry, Zeke killed Stevenson, Cook destroyed Breeze. Josh Jacobs situation, probably the biggest question mark. It is a big old question mark. All right, Cats, where we at? Hurts at quarterback, Laporta, Higbee at tight end. Interesting combo, but I think Higbee evens it out. And Laporta's, set to get tight end 1 snaps, right? Obviously, you're good at quarterback. Barkley, JT could end up being a very nice combo, of course. Algier and Harris, good where you got them. Chase Brown, fine. Final pick of the draft, whatever. Adams, Deontay, Pittman, Moore, Evans, Davis. Pretty good. Starting Hurts and Higbee. Maybe Laporta sneaks in there. Presumably Barkley and JT. That's going to be the biggest question for this team. If Taylor isn't around week 1, then you're probably starting Damian Harris. Not the end of the world, but Starting Adams and Deontay, Pittman, and Elijah Moore. Pretty good starting lineup. Evans, Davis, Algier, Harris, Laporta, Brown. A pretty good bench. I mean, obviously you'd be dropping one player for a kicker, but pretty solid team. The biggest question, of course, is JT going to be around or not? Tommy at the 1.1. Bijan. Let's go. I don't mind this pick. I mean, I probably am still going JJ at 1.1, but I like it, Tommy. Bijan Gibbs Hall. I kind of really like that. And then Charbs, I like as an RB4. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, there's some risk here, but I like it. Fields are good there. Komet and Kincaid's nice. Watson, JSN, Dotson, Beckham, Thielen, and Tank Dell. Okay. Myers and the Seahawks defense. I love both Myers and the Hawks defense this year. So let's see here. I mean, Watson's your wide receiver 1. I don't really prefer him as a wide receiver 1, but I mean, right there, like, it's an interesting kind of tier of wide receivers. I probably like Cooper the best. Allen and Metcalf are okay. They just don't have high ceilings. You know, you're not picking to the 4.12, right? So, like, that's kind of the thing. If you pick from the 1.1 or the 1.12, like, you have to kind of reach on players that you prefer sometimes. I'm not really going to knock you for going Watson there. I don't think it's as drastic as some people might think. I think it's okay. Yeah, he brings the upside. He brings a little bit, maybe, inconsistency. But if he's the wide receiver 1 you prefer, I'm not going to knock you. So let's just see here. Starting Fields and Komet. Bijan and Gibbs. Watson and JSN. Flexing Dotson, which I like. Then that second flex, probably Breece Hall. So it's not that bad of a build. Charbs, Beckham, Kincaid, Thielen, Dell on the bench. I can live with it. How do you feel about it? That's the real question. I do like the upside of running back a lot. I mean, it's not really something I, preferably go for. But I had been thinking about starting to do some drafts where I go heavy running back just to see what happens. So I like it. Let's see here. All right, Box and the Jack. At the 1-8. Josh Allen is good at football, and Evan Engram is perfectly fine as your tight end 1. Henry, Pierce, Dobbins, Roschon, White. I like that backfield. Yeah. Diggs, Judy, Flowers, Cooks, Lazard, Pierce, Niners defense, Younghoe Koo. So, fine team. We're starting Allen and Engram, Henry and Pierce, Diggs and Judy, flexing Flowers, flexing Dobbins. Cooks, Lazard, Roschon, Pierce, and Zamir White on the bench. So, fine team. I mean, I prefer, in full PPR to have a wide receiver in that second flex spot, but I think it's okay. Got a little stack with Allen and Diggs. How do you feel about it? I like your first 7 picks. I like Lazard where you got him. Pierce is fine there. I'm not a big Cooks fan, but it's probably okay in the 8th round. Good running backs for sure. Dom's at the 1-5. We've got Tua time at quarterback with Danny Dimes. I like that. T-Hawk at tight end. T-Hawk in the 6, I'm fine with. I don't really love reaching for him in like the 4th or even 5th. End of the 6 is okay. Jacobs, Mixon, Cook, Zeke. Some risk here at the running backs. Man, imagine having this running back room like 2 years ago. Hill, Smith, Ayuk, Tony, Moore, Boyd. Okay. I love Hill, Smith, and Ayuk to start your draft. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, we don't know what's going on with Jacobs. Mixon's probably going to see less touches this year. Is okay, I guess, right there. Cook. Someone had to take him tonight. Zeke, someone had to take him tonight. But let's see. We're starting Tua or Jones, whoever. A good kicker, good defense, by the way, and Tucker in the Jets defense. But Tua, Hawkinson, Hopefully Jacobs and Mixon. Hill and Smith flexing Ayuk. Then in that second flex, like, I think Sky Moore can fill in there. Tony's maybe an option if he's alive. Cook is probably an option. Maybe Zeke's an option. Boyd, I don't really love. I like Boyd as your final pick, though, essentially, because he's still like basically a handcuff wide receiver to Higgins and Chase. So he does hold that value, but it just, the inconsistency, in fantasy, like, yeah, you might have these weeks where he's giving you double digits 3 weeks in a row, and then he's giving you single digits 3 weeks in a row, so it's just hard to trust him. He's no more than a flex who's inconsistent. But, if something happens to Higgins or Chase, God forbid, then, like, he's going to get those targets, right? But team looks pretty solid. How do you feel about it, Dom? Andrea's at the 111. Burrow, I like him. Pitts in the 8th. I'm starting to rise on Pitts a bit because he's just falling further and further back in drafts. Anyways, Harris Walker, I love that. Cook, Bigsby, Gainwell, good running back room. A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, Addison, Romeo Dobbs, Collins, and Hodgins. Good wide receivers. Eagles defense, and Dicker the kicker. Yeah. I think you got good value throughout this whole draft, Andrea. So starting Burrow and Pitts, Harrison Walker, Brown and Wilson, flexing Addison, flexing Dobbs. That leaves Cook, Bigsby, Collins, Gainwell, Hodgins on the bench. Good looking squad. I like that team. Ghost, good to see you. Hello. Let's see here. Zach Ertz coming off the pup list. Yeah, we hit that earlier in the night. Since he did draft a lot of wide receivers, that's fair. Team of the night, I'm going to go Jay Fitness, the first team we went over. I do like Andrea's team that we just went over. I mean, a lot of good squads tonight, but, I guess the biggest risk with this team is if Geno, sucks this year, and then Richardson just struggles too much his rookie season. But there are always waiver quarterbacks. But Geno, Kittle, Eckler, White, Waddle, Metcalf, Debo, Kirk. I think that's the best starting lineup. Then I like Javonte, A-Shane, Bateman, Shaheed, and Richardson on the bench. Good kicker, great defense. I really like that team. Yeah. That'll be my team of the night. Okay, so let's roast my team, and then we will move to a second mock, which will be off air, and I will use it for a video. But let's take a look at what I did tonight. Weird draft for me tonight. We were talking a ton, and I had to go Kelsey in the first because I felt like I couldn't pass him. And let's just see. Prescott and Cousins at quarterback. I'm fine with that, but I do prefer another wide receiver in that range or running back. J-Dub says, I like your team until you took Kelsey. Prescott and Cousins at quarterback. Kelsey at tight end. Stevenson, Monty, Dillon, McKinnon at running back. St. Brown, London, Hollywood, Quentin Johnson, I keep saying JSN, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Van Jefferson at receiver. Cowboys defense, Nick Folk. This team is fine. I just don't. I'm not in love with it. You know what I mean? I never feel good when I go tight end in the first. But I'm starting Dak, Kelsey, Ramondre, Monty, St. Brown, London, Hollywood. Then in that flex spot, maybe as the season goes on, Quentin Johnston, but A.J. Dillon, Quentin Johnston, McKinnon, Juju, Jefferson all have flex value. Good defense, good kicker. This team's fine. It's just not what I'd necessarily prefer. It just, I prefer starting with two wide receivers. And I think in a real draft, I would pass on Kelsey. It's just not the way I personally draft. But it's also really hard to pass on him, I mean, obviously, your tight end one every year since 2016, except 2021, where he was your tight end 2. It's like, I mean, when does this end? I don't quite know. Could it be this year because he's old, like everyone says? Sure, but probably not. I just, it's just hard. I mean, didn't he have a career high in touchdowns last year? A career high in targets, a career high in receptions, and the second most receiving yards of his career. It's like, you know, you can't really beat yourself up. I just prefer to, my strategy is just different, you know, so it's tough. Anyways, this team's okay. It's fine. It'll be okay. All right, here's your second mock for the night. Go ahead and join. 12-teamer. No random spot. No random order, sorry. And I'll let you guys know when we're starting. Be shortly after the stream. And I am using it for a video. So please don't ruin it. And that'll wrap up tonight's stream. So hit the like on the way out. If you guys are new, thank you for being here. Make sure you guys subscribe because that will make me happy. And check out the links down below, guys. Discord, Instagram, all that good stuff. Most importantly, Discord, because that is where we send out our mock draft invites. If you guys want to mock draft with us in the future. Plus, we have our mock draft thread. You guys can put out your own mock drafts at any point. And members of our community will come out and mock with you, which is better than the computer. So, that's going to wrap things up, ladies and gents. Appreciate you guys. You know who you are. Thank you for being here tonight. Godfather, didn't see you in the chat tonight, but thank you for being here. Walito, looks like you weren't really in the chat, but thank you for sending the 20. That was for the Dynasty League. So thank you. Tommy, thank you. Andrew, have a good night. All right, that'll wrap it up. I'll let you guys know on Sleeper and Discord when we're starting the next mock. No random order. And I'll get it set on Discord, so it'll fill pretty shortly here. But thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Had a blast. Thank you guys for talking fantasy with me. And that'll wrap it up. So love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the Catch fam. I'll be back on tomorrow. Talk to you guys tomorrow. And with that, I will say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And remember, you saw it here on the Catch. And